Hey guys! Today I'll be doing a video about my ear piercing experiences and my thoughts on the piercing gun versus the needle. So, first of all, I do have a lot of notes because for me, if I can't even comprehend everything in order of what I'm going to want to say, so I kind of have to write notes and be like, alright, this is the order of what I'm going to be saying. So, first of all, my first lobes are obviously stretched, but of course, when I got them done, my mom says I was 3 years old, and I did get them done with a piercing gun, and the thing is that they said I had them done with a piercing gun at a piercing place at the mall. I think they're called, piercing, I don't even know what that other word is. I don't know. It's just like a piercing place that they have a little station at the mall. So I know that they said that I got it done there, and they had two girls do piercing guns at the same time, and when they clicked them, one backfired, I think is what they said, and only one pierced, and so the other one backfired. And I guess I was in such trauma that I actually didn't get the other one done. I was just done for the day. And they actually said that they took out the piercing because I didn't want them, because I didn't like having, because I guess at 3 years old, I apparently knew that I didn't like just having one instead of both in the ear. So, but I guess a year later, I got them done again with the piercing gun, and they both did them at the same time, and I guess this time they both worked out and everything. I don't know how it was with the healing, or if they got infected or anything. Like I said, at that time I was 4, but I kept them in, and I still have them, obviously, they're stretched at this point, so I'm assuming everything went okay. So my second limbs, though, I got at the, you like how I do this? These are my 2 ears, but I go like this. Apparently that's what I'm pointing at. So, but I was at the age of 9, and I got them pierced at Claire's, I think. So, at the age of 9, I got most of these done. Not most of these, but the first 2 lobes were definitely done at a age that I was I had no idea what I was doing, obviously. So, my third lobes were done at Epic Ink Tattoo and Piercing, so it is at a professional piercing place. So that one was done with a needle. And then I just recently got my conch and my industrial done a few weeks ago, and again, both at Epic Ink with the needle and stuff. And then I do have my cartilage pierced on my left ear. And that one I actually got done at the age of 12 or 13, I think, at Walmart, actually, and it was with the piercing gun. So, first, that's just what I'm going to state with my ears, if I got them done with a piercing gun or with a needle. So, and then I'm going to state my opinions on what the pros and cons, more of a cons, of the piercing gun and the needle and everything for the pros, of course. Because when I got, like I said, I don't know much about my first and second lobes with the piercing gun and how it went, except for what I told you for my first lobes. But with my cartilage piercing, me and my mom both went to Walmart, and they pierced both me and her with a piercing gun, the cartilage. And my mom's, I know hers got infected really badly, and she had to take it, she almost couldn't get it out of her ear. I don't know what happened. She could have shattered it by chance, or it was so swollen, because I think they pierced it with just the hoop that I still have in now, possibly. 'Cause I don't think I've taken this thing out in ever since I got it done. So, but when I got it done, I know that it definitely was hard. Back then too, with the whole aftercare, when they told you, I think back then they told you to clean with rubbing alcohol, and I remember one night that it was bleeding because I was twisting it, or messing with it, because they tell you to kind of twist it or whatever, I think, to help with the cleaning and stuff, even though that's technically actually kind of builds up the bacteria and dirt. But anyways, so it was bleeding, and so it was first of all, I was up at midnight or whatever, and my sister, I asked her to help me come clean it because it was bleeding, and so she put rubbing alcohol on it while it was still bloody and stuff, and I passed out. So I know it was really hard for the healing process because I did start to get like the bump on both the front and the back, sometimes only just on the front, sometimes just on the back, or like the whole thing was just wanting to get really bumpy, which I don't know if that would consider to be a keloid, or because I know they have a thing that's called the cauliflowered ear, which is like where it just gets like a big bump because like you shattered your cartilage and it's just, or it collapsed on you. Like there's just so much that could have happened, but I was lucky enough I just kept cleaning with it, even though at the time I was still like with rubbing alcohol and stuff like that I just kept with it. Didn't get too bad to the point that I had to take it out because I really, really liked it, of course, too. Because at the age, not everyone had it, and I just wanted it. So, but I still like it, of course, now. And then, so that was just it for just the cartilage. So I was very lucky with that I don't think I shattered like my mom possibly could have. I haven't seen her ear lately, ever since, because this was like, of course, when I was like 12 or 13, and now I'm 21, so I haven't checked out her ear to look at it to see exactly like if there's like a bump in it, because sometimes I hear even when you take them out that there's like a hard bump you can feel on the cartilage that wasn't there before the piercing, then it's there after you take it out and let it heal. I don't know. So, but I just wanted to do my pros and cons of each one, even though there's obviously you're going to realize that I 100% would choose the needle ever since I got to that age to realize I need to use a needle. I need to go to a professional piercing parlor. So, because the thing is that I don't get, like I said, I got them pierced with my first and second and my cartilage all piercing gun. And I did, for the most part, okay, I still have them. They look okay. But I don't recommend it ever for anyone to get a piercing with a piercing gun. So, because I've done research and I'm one of those people that obviously do that stuff, that, that places like Walmart, of course, Claire's, and then, like I said, the piercing parlors, because that's the only 3 places that I know, when they're doing piercings, I mean, it's technically a retail store. Like, yeah, most of the time they're selling, like, jewelry. Like, with Claire's, they have a bunch of girly, it's cute, you know, you'd obviously would want to take your daughter, you know, there or something, or you want to go there because it looks more not intimidating as a piercing place. So, but I've done my research, and so what I've heard of asked before is that they only go through like a 2-week like processing of training, that they do like videos and then just practicing on teddy bears with the piercing gun. So, while I know with a professional piercer, they go to school to learn about, like, the blood-borne pathogens. They learn about the contact with the blood and, like, first aids, sterilizing everything, hygiene, what even piercings are not suitable, because just because you have an ear doesn't mean that you might not be able to get an ear piercing, like with the cartilage. You know, they go to school to learn, okay, like, is this piercing suitable for this, you know, part of the skin that you want to pierce. You know, they learn about cross-contamination, they learn about the damage of the nerve system and the circulatory system as well. So it's like they go to school for a lot more, and they do apprenticing when they are using real people's skin and stuff, but it's like they go through a lot more training for like something that's going to be, you know, someone's going to be piercing something into your ear where there's blood involved. I mean, not always are you going to bleed, you know, which, I mean, it depends on everybody if you're going to bleed or not, because, like I said, it's just individual. But I know piercing gun, it's plastic, so you can clean a piercing gun, I guess, like, you can wipe it down with rubbing alcohol or whatever, but that's not quite sterilizing, like, the viruses that could be on it. I mean, I know some people have argued that the piercing gun itself doesn't come in contact with the skin. But the thing is that, you know, the piercer's hands are coming in contact. So, for example, if they're piercing your ear and you do get a bloody ear and, like, the blood pathogens can get in the ear, they can get onto, like, they can squirt onto the person's gloves, they can touch the gun, you know, whatever reason, you know. And a lot of the time, you're sitting in a chair in this big open area where it's like I don't know if they sterilize the chair, but it's like you're still always having people coming and going, sneezing, coughing, blah, blah, blah. You always have people around you. Well, I know at a piercing place that they have like a station where they always have it sanitized. They always, like, before and after, you know, they don't let anybody in unless, like, when you're getting it done and, like, stuff like that. And they always see them with, like, opening new things, and it's like the hollow needle itself. You know, they're able to sterilize everything the proper way and everything. So, and I know, let's see, with, like, pain-wise, see, it's kind of hard because I can't remember with the piercing guns how it felt. But, I mean, when you're doing a piercing gun, you're putting tissue trauma. Like, it is a blunt object, because a piercing gun, it's the stud itself that you're going to be piercing with. So it's like you have the stud, and then you have the backing to the stud, and it's going to click together, I guess, in your ear. So, but the thing is that it's literally ripping your ear to make room for the jewelry. So that it pinches it off so that it can't allow the new wound to, like, breathe or, like, heal properly, because you're pinching it and you're not giving it room. Because I know when you're getting it pierced with a hollow needle, yes, it's going to be extra sharp and it's slicing through your skin, but it's making a more, you know, safer way of pushing the skin tissue, or, like, pushing the tissue aside, that it makes room for the jewelry. And then also, like, the jewelry itself, they tend to be a little bit longer, so that, because they don't know how much you're gonna, like, swell up, because most of the time, I mean, it is still trauma no matter what to your body, that something's going on, so it's gonna want to kind of swell up. So they don't know how much it's gonna swell up, so they tend to go with longer jewelry, because it helps with, like, the gives it space for it to swell up. Okay, you know, figure out what the hell just happened, and then to kind of, you know, do what it needs to do. So, I know with that, and then let me flip my handy-dandy notebook right here. So, and again, with the jewelry, too. Like, I know some people, they're like, oh, well, I want to go to a Claire's or a Walmart or whatever because it's cheaper. It's like, well, yes, it's cheaper, but you got to think, okay, I think it's like when you buy the jewelry, you get the piercing free at Claire's or something, but when you're going to a piercing parlor, like a professional one where they've learned everything, they are charging you probably more, because the thing is that you gotta think, a lot of people actually, I think, are, like, allergic to, like, nickel or, like, titanium, or I don't know. People have a lot of allergies to certain metals. So a lot of the times they have it to where this jewelry is able to work with all types of, like, skin who people are, like, they're going to have it for you if you're allergic to a certain, like, if nickel or whatever it might be that you might be allergic to, if you know. So, or if you don't know. But the thing is that if you're getting it done with a piercing gun with, like, even though I think there's, like, jewelry at Claire's and, like, Walmart that say that's, like, nickel-free or something, but, I mean, they're literally using, like, titanium and, like, steel that's nickel-free, and it's, like, it's obviously going to be more expensive jewelry. So, I know that usually they use barbells, too, because it's supposed to help it's, like, designed to help with removing of the dirt and the bacteria, and it's supposed to help during the healing process a lot more, I think, so, but, I know there's one that says, oh, and then I know people like to argue there's a few things people like to argue about with the piercing gun versus the needle, is that a lot of the times that people are like, oh, you know, I got it done, and like I said earlier in the video, oh, I got it done and I did it just fine. Like, you know, nothing happened. It's like, yeah, that's great, you know, but why would you still recommend after all of these pros and cons between these two? I mean, it's all about safety, really, and just, like, you know, all really safety and just the knowledge of what you're getting done to your body and stuff. Because, I know a lot of people were like, well, can you really shatter your cartilage with a piercing gun? And like I said with my mom's, I think that's possibly what happened with hers, you know, and I have known plenty of people who've had their cartilage shatter. It, you know, would, not dent, but, like, collapse on them. They get the bumps that I got, you know, it's just, why would you risk it anyways? And I'm pretty sure, because I have asked one of those piercing, like, places that are in the mall, like, hey, would you do my third lobe at the time before I had it done? Or, hey, would you do a cartilage piercing? Because I wanted to know because I guess some places have done it, but they are just like, oh no, we don't touch anything with cartilage, because they're at least smart enough to understand that they shouldn't be touching cartilage at all with a piercing gun. And with your third lobe, like, there's a chance of you hitting cartilage, you know, not just the flesh of just your lobe, I guess, and not the hard part of your ear. So they shouldn't even be doing it to begin with. Like, I don't even know how Walmart got away with it when I got it done, but again, so like, I just don't see how people can be like, oh yeah, I got this done with a piercing gun, it was just fine, and they would still recommend it, because there's just so much more cons to it, you know, safety and just all these other things that are backed up, that it's like, why would you not go the safer, you know, smarter route, you know? So, and then some people are like, oh, I prefer the gun because when I got it done, it didn't hurt as bad as when I got something else done with the needle. Well, the thing is that no piercing's gonna be the same with the pain, because I got both not at the same time, but I got both in the same session. I got the industrial done, and then I got the conch done. The industrial, it pierced through 2 holes, and that didn't hurt as bad as my conch, for example, because, I mean, I feel like because it's also in that area, that it's piercing through a different type of cartilage, too, because, I mean, it's different, maybe, but all I know is that it hurt a little bit more with the piercing of the conch, but with sleeping, it was a lot harder with my industrial and then with my conch, and it seemed like it gave me a little bit more problems on the cartilage too, because the cartilage, it actually is a longer process of healing than it is with like a lobe, and that's another thing why you want to use a piercing gun. So, like I said, pain is going to be different. Like, if I were to go in and, you know, get my first lobes, if, like I said, I was too young to even know at the time, so it's like I didn't know the difference of the pain by then when I waited a year later. But it's like, if my ears weren't stretched right now, and if I were to not have them, and then I were to go in and get a needle, because I do know what it's like with a needle, if I were to get that done, and then, to be like, oh, that was really pain-free, you know, blah, 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 but then I get my second lobes done, and they hurt a lot worse, I'm not going to think, okay, well, I got it with the gun last time, I'm going to get it again, because it didn't hurt as bad last time. Like, again, no piercing is going to be the same with the pain. It's not like you're going to get the same thing again. Like, it's going to be painful, like, because you don't know what you're doing with your body, like, because maybe back then you were, you know, well hydrated, you know, you didn't have a lot of caffeine, you know, stuff like that kind of prevented help, like, with it being so painful, or people did, like, numbing processes with, you know, icing it, or rubbing alcohol, or I don't know, I just know that there is, like, numbing processes, which they don't do in piercing parlors. So, I don't know what the age is at piercing parlors. Like, I don't think they do fresh out of the womb type of, like, piercings on babies with the ears, but I think they wait till, like, a certain age at least. So it's like, don't think a piercing place is intimidating, because, I mean, they are most of the time. They do have tattoos as well, but it's still in an environment where it's like, I've seen with, like, piercing places, they are very away from the tattoos, and, like, it's still, like, not, like, don't make it seem like it's scary and, like, a lot more intimidating than what, like, it would be at a Walmart or a Claire's, because you see other people, you know, it's a relaxing environment, you know, you feel, I don't know, sometimes I feel like when you're in the chair at a Claire's or a Walmart, it seems like you would be more, like, maybe anxiety, because you have so many people watching around and just around you and stuff. So, anyways, I hope I got everything that I needed to say. I don't usually do videos like this with, like, ranting and stuff, but I just, because I'm very into body modification when it comes to, like, piercings and stuff and tattooing, I'm all about professionalism and being safe about it the most possible way, and knowing what I need to do for my body's best. Because also, like, with the aftercare, like, they give you, like, instructions. Like, I always get pamphlets every single time I get a pamphlet, and they always go over it with you before and after, you know, blah, 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 what's, like, in the pamphlet, it'd say, like, what's normal, what's not normal. If you have any questions, give them a call, ask them, you know, come in. While, you know, you can do that at, like, a Walmart or, like, a Claire's or one of the piercing places, but it's like, who's going to have the more knowledge? If you come in with something going on that you don't know what it quite is, they will be able to figure it out a lot quicker and be able to like have a solution for it than what I'm pretty sure would for, you know, at a retail store. So that's, I've always wanted to, and not always, but I really like the idea of like working at a Claire's, because I do think it's all girly and super fun, or like a Claire's icing, but I don't think they do the piercings there. Just at the Claire's, which is like the one that's all pink and for the younger girls, of course. So, but that's the only problem I would have, is that I would not be able to do piercings. So unless I did go to school, learn everything I need to learn about everything, safety procedures and stuff, and then do apprenticing and not just do it on teddy bears, you know, stuff like that. So anyway, sorry for the long video, you guys. Let me know what you guys, I guess, have to say. I just really think that there's common sense, and then obviously not having common sense, but then again, there's a saying, common sense isn't common. I honestly think that's a really big thing with the piercing industry, especially with the ears and stuff. So leave your comments, questions, and concerns in the comment box below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!